Hey, before we get started, I just wanted to point out that I've organized all my videos into playlists on my channel. So if you're looking for more videos around a specific topic, especially topics like this with general shoe knowledge, you can find all of the videos in one place so that you're able to easily access everything that's out there. Thanks much.
Hey everyone. Today we're going to talk about a very cool shoe battle. I've started a series where I'm comparing my TLB Mallorca 121 to other Adelaides. I've compared it to my Cation and Girling St. James 2 and to my George Cleverley's. And today I want to take it, and to my Carmenas. And today I want to take these on the road and look at English shoes. So I'm going to do one video for each of those and post them separately. That way you're able to just get to what you're looking for. But really excited about just taking a look at different English shoes as we do this. So we're going to talk about last, we're going to talk about measurements, and we're going to talk about the overall feel and fit, which I know a lot of you have asked me to include. So I'm going to work on trying to make sure that I incorporate all of that in today. So here we go. So we're going to start off today by talking about the mid-range Loake. Okay, this is the Loake Evans, and this is a really great Adelaide. This is a austerity Adelaide. What does that mean? Where your traditional Adelaide is a semi-brogue, meaning that it has all the brogue holes. This has no brogue holes at all. Okay. So this is a much more formal shoe. However, it still has the Adelaide shape. It has the U-throat. It has the cap toe on it. It has heel caps on it. And this is a really good functional shoe. This is in the Loake. This is not in export grade. This is in the Legacy range, okay, which is the 1880 Legacy. So it's the second to the top of the line in Loake. And so let's talk a little bit about it. It has the little piece here. So when they did the clicking on this, they didn't do a seam in the back. They actually cut it and then did just a small seam in the back in order to tighten it up. The toe cap, you can see, very well done. The edging along the welt line, you can see that as well. Also very well done. From a waist perspective, does not have a very narrow waist. It has your typical Loake 1880 heel. Nothing different or fancy on this, and there's absolutely no bevel. Okay, you can see all the stitching on the inside. So this is an open channel, Goodyear welt, and they've done some detail on it. Okay, you can see not all of it's worn away yet, but you can tell these are shoes that I wear. And I think what's important to me about these shoes is the color. Right, when I chose to buy these shoes, I wanted to get the austerity version in a color that was more formal. Because I just felt like it was a more formal shoe, and that made it a lot more versatile. So I can wear this with navy. I can also wear it with light colored slacks and stuff too. And so it just makes it the perfect dress shoe, in my opinion, from all things said. Now, what am I giving up by it not being in the top range? Well, the bevel, right? The sole is a lower tier sole. The leather is also a lower tier leather. Now this is box calf. It is high quality, right? So, but I would say that this is along the lines of like an Allen Edmonds, but not along the lines of where the Loake export grade is, which is much higher grade, Vigano calf. So that's one piece. Now, when I get to the TLB, this is really top line, full grain leather. Very, very fine quality, very tight pouring. And of course it has the wonderful sole. It has both the bevel waist, which is almost a fiddleback. They just don't color it, but a very narrow waist as well. And I'm going to put the measurements here.
You can see that the waist is considerably narrower on the TLB.
You can see that significantly it has a narrower waist. Now let's also talk about the heels. Okay, the heel itself is straight, more or less straight, but it is very narrow. And if you compare the two, that is a gigantic difference. And we're going to put those measurements here. Now, let's look at the toe shape. This has the beautiful rises on the toe that I like. It has a very chisel last. No, excuse me, not a very chisel last, but a soft chisel last, right? I've also done the polish on here around the broke lines to make it a little bit darker, stand out a little bit. But again, that's polish. That's something that I can change at any time that I want. So this, because of the waist, it has a really hug to your foot, where this is more your traditional standard shoe, right? It has no rise here. It has a very nice shape. The last shape is nice. It is traditional English, right? So a little on the bulk side, but not bulky, right? Like an American one that I showcased in my bulky videos or chunky videos, but still quite nice, quite appealing. The waist is narrow, but not overly narrow, and certainly not wide like my Heinrich Dinklager wide, right? But it is clean. It is a 270-degree welt, okay? So the stitches actually stop here on both sides, and so it can get closer. Now that compared to this, where it's much narrower, and that's because the welts actually stop here, those stitching, sole stitching, and they just do the heel completely in there. Now it's not pegged or anything like a super fancy shoe, but it is pretty high quality. Now the one thing that this has that this is got very fine pinking. Okay, so what do I mean by that? If we look at the line here, you can see that they both have pinking on them, but the pinking on the Loake is very coarse, and the pinking on the TLB is very fine. I like this because I think that this kind of dresses it down a little bit because it's such a formal shoe. It just adds a little bit of texture to it. Here, it really dresses it up a little bit because it has very little texture. Now, you can have these with virtually no pinking at all. But I'm really glad with the way they did this and the way that these contrast each other. And for basically being a very similar color in dark brown, I really have two very different shoes, which is important to me as a collector, as to be able to have them in my collection. So that is the base comparison. Now, what I think a lot of times we also look at the sole stitch, right, and the density of the stitches here. So I'm going to put that measurement there. Then we also tend to look at the stitches in the upper as another core competency for it, which is going to be here. Let's talk about comfort. Again, this hugs your foot. It is, extremely comfortable. Certainly wear all day, no problem at all. This is a Goodyear welted shoe. It feels like a Goodyear welted shoe, and it does settle, okay? But I have to say that this, compared to my other Loakes, compared to my TLBs, my Crockett & Jones, my Trickers, certainly my Gaziano and Girlings, the comfort level is just not there. This is not as comfortable as any of my Allen Edmonds. It's not as comfortable as my Aldens. It's not as comfortable as any of my Italian shoes. So, that's worthy of note. Now, it's more comfortable than my Eves in Gray. It's more comfortable than my Meerman. So, it's not a bad shoe, not as comfortable as Carmina, okay? But it is a solid, straightforward shoe. Price point on this is, and I'm going back in time here, so I think this was about 280 pounds, which would translate to about $350, okay? And this was $400 when I bought it. I think right now they're running about $440 because the exchange rate is different and now things cost more. So, but that is basically where we're at today. So interested in your feedback, please feel free to post comments and let me know what you think. And thank you so much for watching.